that video. I promised you yesterday that I would be putting out another video. Yesterday we shot the 155 grain XTPs. Today we have the same Glock, Glock 40 MOS, 6-inch model KKM barrel. I put a Generation 3 recoil spring system in this and a Ceres trigger. All upgrades to help reach the potential of the cartridge out of this gun. This year's the 180 grain XTPs. Case overall length, all this stuff's mag length. I'm not going to get into all that, but I shoot 10.5 grains of IMR 800X with this is the Underwood brass. This cartridge could go a little hotter, but there's really no need to. The guys that try to push this and tell you that they're going to make a 41 Magnum out of a 10 millimeter, that's a bunch of crap. It is a 10 millimeter, end of the day, period. So today we're going to do 180 grain XTPs. Again, this is 10.5 grains of IMR 800X. We're using CCI primers, and this is with the Underwood brass. We're shooting 25 yards. Yeah, we'll go down here and check the target out. Again, this is the 180 grain XTPs with 10.5 grains of IMR 800X. Again, 800X, if you're wanting to push this 10 millimeter cartridge to get your max potential, I highly recommend it. Again, with the lighter stuff, anything below 165, I've always had good luck with Blue Dot. I'm not going to get into the feet per second. That's for all the guys that have to have the blogs and so forth. Again, yeah, same thing as you just about yesterday. I've been running after work, so I am a little bit shaky. So that's about baseball size, group 25 yards. Again, IMR 800X, 10.5 grains behind 180 grain XTP. It's a stuck case again. Got done with the 10 millimeter here a little bit ago. I decided to break out one of the older pistols I have. This is a Gen 3 Glock 34 9 millimeter. Did a little bit of hand stipling myself. It was done for years. We did do an upgrade with the Ceres trigger in it, 3.5 pound connector. This everybody likes to beat up the 9x19, and I've been doing this stuff for now going on 35 years, and 35 years ago, justifiable. Today, no. We're going to shoot the 124 grain Underwood ammunition today through this pistol. Phenomenal ammunition company. A lot of times pushes me to the point that I don't even want to reload. They're that good. But for some of my cartridges, like my 10 millimeter, I expect the max out of it. So I do hand load it with a couple different bullets depending on what particular species I'm going to go hunt. But for overall plinking, if you're looking for a good carry round, hard to beat Underwood ammunition, and I'm not paid for by them, by no means. I'm not paid for by them. I've turned some guys on to their ammunition, but again, this is a 9x19 and the Glock 34. This is a stock barrel, stock spring. Just the only real upgrade is the Ceres trigger. We're going to take it to 25 yards on the steel target down there, and just give you an idea what the 124s look like coming through. A little bit of a longer barrel. You know, one of the conversations you'll hear in some of the forums is, should you or could you hunt with a 9 millimeter? The answer to that is, should you? No. Can you? Yes. I know that sounds a little conflicting, but 25 to 30 yards, I wouldn't think twice about with this Underwood ammunition taking a West Virginia sized deer. I've always carried a 9 millimeter with me where I went when I drive. There have been times that I have seen a deer that has been horribly mangled, and I've had to basically put it out of its misery. 9x19 never failed with a good hollow point. But again, that's shooting at 7 yards. There's a big difference between 7 yards and 50 yards with this type of cartridge. But 25 yards, this will, without a doubt, if you put it in the boiler room, the deer's not going to go far. We're going to go ahead and shoot that target down there, and when my son zooms in on it, you'll get an idea based on my other videos, if you watch him with the 10 millimeter, just about the power that hits it and what it does when it does contact the steel plate down there. So we'll go ahead and give it a shot. Okay, 9x19 with 124 grain Underwood ammunition. Again, I'm not throwing this out there to just any company, because again, they don't back me in any way. But I don't look much further if I'm not going to be hand loading than Underwood ammunition. Fantastic stuff. Every once in a while, I'll throw one, as you guys can see right here. But stock barrel in the Glock, it does pretty good. That's 4 right in there, pretty tight, with one flyer. I'd say that was definitely me, but that's your 124 grain Underwood ammunition through a Glock 34. I've never really been one to, I've been through many YouTube videos. I like it just for the entertainment purposes of it. Hickok 45, nothing fancy. You guys are pretty good at what you do. I like to throw this out there. My son and his friends have talked me into doing a couple videos. I've been a firearm enthusiast now for 35 years. I've reloaded ammunition for 35 years since I could sit on my father's lap. It kind of got me hooked. But what we're going to talk about today is a little bit of a learning experience. Over 35 years, I've been through so many firearms and so many different calibers, from the Wildcats to you name it. But I've sort of, here lately, I've trimmed myself down. My boys have a lot of my guns now. I've trimmed myself down to just basically what I truly want to have. You're seeing 3 of them right here. The 3 pistols that I currently own, and these are the only 3 that I have anymore. I have a Glock 34, which is a Generation 3. Fantastic pistol. If you know, shit hits the fan kind of thing, if I was to have to go out a door and say, you know, that's the only firearm that I can carry along with my long rifle, that is it. It's never failed me. It's never jammed. It shoots very well in its stock configuration. The only thing that I've changed on this gun is it has a Sores trigger system in it with a 3.5 pound connector. I have done some hand stipling on it, where basically I just used a Dremel tool with a round ball edge type insert on it and just dimpled the grip. Something that's not so textured that if it was inside my clothes would cause me any kind of irritation on my skin. It's just enough that when I get my hand on the gun on a hot day, or if it's wet and it's raining or it's snowy, that I still have a good purchase on the firearm. You know, this right here was back in my competitive days. I don't see like I used to, so I've quit doing that. These were my extended mags. These are 22 round mags. Those are Adirondack, I believe they were. Adirondack editions, those are pretty old. No, excuse me, those are Taylor Freelance extensions. So those mags right there hold 22 rounds apiece. 22 rounds of today's modern day Underwood style ammunition. You have yourself a firearm. People say, well, you know, the 9mm is anemic. That's a bunch of crap. For what we do, what you intend to do with a sidearm, the 9mm in today's world is perfectly capable of doing it. Any more than that, you need to go get a rifle. You need to get yourself to a gun that's going to be able to do more for you. Back to the Glock here. This is my Glock 10mm. I always wanted a 6-inch Glock in 10mm, and one day my wife and I, we were actually going to Cabela's just to do a little shopping to get some. She loves the fudges that she buys up at Cabela's, and my son and I were just walking down through, just browsing, and there it laid. And I didn't even ask the price. I said, "That 10mm?" He said, "Yeah." So we'll go ahead and wrap it up. We'll go ahead and take it. And here it is. I've hand stapled this one. It's actually a melt, whatever you want to call it. This one here is very textured. The reason being is I do not carry this one like if I was to go somewhere, I don't take it. It's an outdoors type gun. Something that if you pack it, it's got some heft to it, and it has some size to it. It's obviously not going to be a concealed carry gun, but its sole purpose, it's KKM barrel, Gen 3 upgrade in the spring, Suarez trigger. This thing was meant to shoot lights out, and it does. It performs just, it shoots better than I can. My vision's not what it used to be. That's why I try to get the red dots on every on every pistol that I can. It just helps me just that little bit. It takes a little bit of that fuzziness out, trying to get the two sights to line up. I just go to the red dot. Knock the rear sight out of this one. Again, this is not one that if I had to go out the door, I wouldn't take this one. It's just too long, hard to find ammunition for. In fact, I hand load for this one. If I did have to buy ammunition, it would definitely be Underwood. I've shot some Hornadies through it. XTPs, like the factory stuff, pretty anemic. I shot the Underwood stuff, and it puts a smile on your face. You definitely, a guy that doesn't have to hand load, or doesn't want to hand load, or doesn't have the time to hand load to push this cartridge to its max, buy Underwood ammunition. You won't have to think twice. When you put it in there, there people that are hand loading to get that little bit of 50 foot per second, 75 foot per second, that deer's not going to know the difference. So Underwood ammunition, again, they don't pay me nothing, but you put that in this gun and it literally lays them in there. But my two hand loads with this, my 155s, 180s are on previous videos. This thing, literally with what I have here in my hands, just I couldn't be happier with it. Lays them in there, excellent power. I've taken 3 deer with this one. I've never chased one. Shoot it, it's on the ground, we go over, we do our business and drag it out of the woods. And then we have, I've always been a 1911 guy. I've had several. I competed with a bunch. I've competed with a bunch over the years. And this one here, to me, represents everything that I would want in my current time with a 1911. You know, when I was younger, I had some race guns. I had some with the Novak low mounts that I carried. I had some officers' models, and I really liked the 1911. But this one here, the 5-inch, 45 ACP, the front strap is perfectly machined. The bobtail. I did have an issue with this gun. It actually had to go back to Kimber, which broke my heart when it initially broke. But the slide itself has a plate on it, which the rear sight is integrated with. The 4 screws that actually held this assembly together broke, and the sight actually hit me beforehand. Kimber immediately recalled it, and in fact, one of the screws broke off and actually damaged the slide. They couldn't get it out. Kimber couldn't ask for a better company to work with. Brand new slide. They now have a machined groove in the slide that this plate sets in, so it takes the weight of the slides reciprocating back and forth. It takes it off of the screws and puts it onto that groove that is machined in there now, which gives it a lot better setup to not take the screws loose, and you're constantly worrying about whether your sight's tight and so forth. Again, this is a Kimber Aegis Elite 45 ACP. I do shoot factory ball ammunition in this for the most part. Right now I'm currently, I don't have a load worthy of shooting the plate down there. My intentions are, being the old caster, and you know, I like to work up my own hand loads. I'm really looking at the possibility of hand loading, pouring, casting, sizing, lubricating my own bullets with a Seiko number 58 bullet, which is a 215 grain semi-water cutter. Has a really large front meplat, which gives good penetration. I'll probably pour it kind of not as hard as everybody just thinks you have to have hard cast. That's great. I think anywhere from 12 to 15 on the hardness, where it actually lets the bullet deform a little bit when it penetrates in. Again, I'm not hunting elk, I'm not hunting moose, I'm not trying to prevent a grizzly bear from eating me. I'm simply trying to, West Virginia sized deer, occasional coyote if I can get a shot at it, something along those lines. And this gun, I have a 20-pound spring in it, 45 super area with good brass. Not hard to do with this gun at all. That's one of the other misconceptions. 45 ACP, will it hunt a deer? Absolutely. Anybody that tells you any different, tell them to stick to the forums, hug their buddies, hang out with them, because they don't know what they're talking about. 45 ACP, 230 grain bullet, or 215 grain hard cast, anything above that, you put that in the Boilermaker of a West Virginia sized deer, you're taking it home to the freezer. The 45 ACP is a perfectly capable round. Specifically, if you know your limits, you have a very well supported chamber, which this gun does. You do the spring, the heavier spring, you go with a heavier main spring, you go with the flat bottom fire pin, the retainer on the back, you go with one of those. You do everything that you can to help keep the breech closed as long as you can. And this gun will do anything that this 10mm will do. Anything that it will do. You're looking at a gun that has the potential of reaching right around 800 foot-pounds. I know people say, oh my God, yes, 800 foot-pounds. Put it through the chronograph after you do some of the hand loads with this gun. 45 super territory, 700 to 800 foot-pounds. It's not hard to get to. You just have to be selective with your brass. You have to know what you're doing with the gun. And again, you'll see that later on in another video. And I'll go through the whole process with this one. From making my own bullets, lubricating my own bullets, to manufacturing my own hand loads. And then I may even break the chronograph out to make everybody happy, because me personally, I don't put much stock in having to have every last foot per second out of a cartridge. That's for the forum guys. That's for the guys that just have to know and got to have the biggest truck with the loudest exhaust and the biggest tires. That's not me. I do like what I have. Again, if I can pass anything on to anybody, 9mm. I wouldn't hunt with it if I had this selection laying in front of me. If I had to, wouldn't think twice. 10mm. It is not a 41 Magnum. It is not a 44 Magnum. Quit on your forums and on your YouTube videos. Quit talking like that, because it's not. It's not. It's a 10mm. Leave it be. Let it be the great cartridge that it is. 45 ACP, been underloaded for 100 years now. This cartridge can do a lot more in capable hands of people that know what they're doing with it. So today I'm going to shoot my Aegis Elite. I've already shot these two in other videos. I'm just in the mood to shoot today, so we're going to put a clip full of these onto the target. Again, this is just 230 grain ball ammunition, Winchester white box, nothing real great. It'll hit the target if I do what I'm supposed to, but I just wanted to touch base with you guys a little bit, get you a little bit of an idea who I am on my videos. Hickok 45, nothing fancy. Again, throw that out there to you guys. You've been around for a while doing this. My son talked me into doing this, so if I can save you $1 or lend you any kind of advice out there on what you could look for and why, I'll try to do that over through my videos. But right now we're going to go ahead and shoot a couple pieces of steel. I'm going to go do a little shooting this evening. Go down here and take a look, see what the old ACP can do on a piece of plate. My Dingleberry sons have, while I wasn't around, decided that this piece of plate must be tougher than what they think. They shoot it with the 5.56 and it has dimples all over it. And his other knuckle-headed buddy with his 338 Lapua decided to put 2 holes through it. Not too shabby. It has both the 9mm and the 45s here. These are the 9mm here, and these are the 45. Again, that's Winchester white box. It does pretty good. When I have my eyes on, I can usually do a little better than that. So that's not too bad. That's about 2.5 inches. That's not too bad.